back a little bit right here. All right, Shalom. First and foremost, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakah, Kudash. Double honors to the elders and the apostles of Great Millstone, and peace and blessings to the elect. And yeah, we out here once again through the Spirit. We're going to get right into it. I said we're going to start off with Isaiah 59:19, right? Because I mean, pretty much we're in that waiting point, which is not supposed to be just waiting. It's supposed to be a preparation. All right, you're supposed to be preparing for the times to come. You know, in the sense that we're in that semi grace period, and you're supposed to take this time to really strengthen your faith. Okay, because that's what you're going to be relying on pretty much the most in these times to come. All right, the faith of hey, like we always say, you might end up by yourself. I mean, the things that are about to happen are no joke. You know, they're no joke at all. So keeping that in mind, you don't know how intense it's actually going to feel. All we know is that it's going to be a time like never before. All right, so clearly we're going to experience things that we've never experienced before. But what's going to keep us going is our faith, because faith allows us to believe in things that we've never seen before. You know, and so faith can actually protect us. As a matter of fact, when you finish that, we can get Ephesians the 6th chapter. But as we're about to go into, the Lord did say that through all these calamities and destruction that's coming, which He is bringing, okay, that He was going to deliver us out of it. That's Jeremiah 30:7 as well. All right, but yeah, you can start with whatever you got.
This is Isaiah chapter 59.
Actually,
verse...
start at 1 and then jump down to 19.
This is Isaiah chapter 59 and 1. Behold, the Lord's hand is not shortened, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that it cannot hear.
Right, so the Lord's hand is not short, that it cannot save, neither his ear heavy, that he cannot hear. Meaning that the Most High is more than capable of not only hearing you, but delivering you. And that's why that's why the Most High gets so upset when people are doubt, you know, or they lack faith. All right, because the Lord hasn't given us a reason to not believe in Him. He hasn't given us a reason to lack faith. So if you come to the Lord, that's why the scripture says, if you come to the Lord, you must come believing that He is, and He is a rewarder of them that diligently seek Him, right? But if you come into the Lord with a half mind, you're not sure, you know, oh, I'm not too sure if this is the way, or, you know, what if this and what if that? If every 2 seconds you start panicking and bugging out, you don't really have faith. And the Lord's going to look at you like, why the hell are you here? You know, that's like going to a mechanic. Your car broke down. You take it to a mechanic shop. You tell them, yeah, I need this, this, and that. This part, you know, messed up here. Can you do this for me? And then every 2 seconds, as they start taking a look, here it is. He opens up the hood, and he's taking a look. Oh, okay. So the second he moves his hand to touch something, you already grabbing his hand. And are you sure that's what you want to? You sure that's the one you want to touch? You know what I mean? Like every 2 seconds, he turns. Wait, but are you? But so do you know what you're doing? What do you think is going? What do you think that mechanic is? He's going to tell you, look, man, get out of my shop. Take your car and get out of here. Because you're going to piss him off, because you're doubting his ability to do his job, right? He wouldn't be a mechanic if he didn't know how to do his job. And because if he's a mechanic, he's inviting you to come over there and use his services. In essence, test his ability to do his job. So here it is, you go in there, you know, the second he tries to do, oh, you question it here, he's going to tell you, look, do you want a mechanic or not? So it's the same thing. You know, you go to pray to the Lord, and every 2 seconds oh Lord this, oh Lord that. Oh wait, but what if the Most High? What if the Most High? No, He's not dealing with what ifs. That's why it says He is, right? You must come believing that He is, not what ifs. But yeah, you can jump down to verse 19, because with all this stuff going on in the world, it's not over. The whole over the 2-year span, they've got people doing this, that, and the third, running around. But now they see people are catching on to what's really going on. People are not falling for the tricks, you know, as easily anymore. So knowing this devil the way he is, what do you think he's going to do? Because now, Revelation 12:12, he's going to come down with great wrath, because he knows he has a short time. It took this devil years in order to deceive the masses and lull them to sleep. Imagine trying to put a live baby to sleep. A baby that's crying and crying and crying. You gotta rock them and rock them. You gotta be very patient. You rock them, you rock them, you rock them, you sing to them and all that. You know, you find something that puts them into that zone, and you keep on going all the way. And even after they close their eyes, you still gotta go for a few more minutes before you can stop for a second and then see if they move, because they might just wake up again. You know, so you slowly stop for a second. If they twitch it, you keep rocking them, so that they go to sleep. And then when you leave them for a few, and they're not doing nothing, you know, all right, they're asleep. And you slowly got to get your ass out of there. And hope to God that the second you turn around, they don't start crying again. Right? That's how you put a baby to sleep. Well, guess what? I don't know how I know it. I just know it. All right? But this is the same thing these devils had to do to the masses of the people. That's why it took so long. That's why for so many years, they've been slowly using gradualism to deceive the people, to put them to sleep, hit them with the silent weapons, deceive them here, bring out this here, to finally put them in a state of sleep, but now they done woken up again. And the problem is, these devils don't have enough time to try and lull people back to sleep again. That's like if the child woke up, now you got to go back, and now, first off, the child he's aware. The child is aware that, let me move this. Right, so the child is aware that you don't already try to leave his ass once, so he's gonna be real. That was gonna be harder to put him to sleep. So that's the way these devils are. They put the world to sleep, but then the world woke up again, because we came up in there, hey, wake up, woke the baby up and shit. So now the world is back up again, but this time it's going to be impossible with the small time span they have to try and put the world back to sleep. So you know what they're going to say? They're going to say, listen, baby, you don't stop crying, but duct tape your mouth shut. How about that? Now they don't give a damn anymore. That's Revelation 12 and 12. Matter of fact, let's get that. You know, so all these things that are happening is all what? It's all biblical prophecy. And people are going to find that out whether they like it or yes. All right? That's why the scriptures say, and when it cometh to pass, lo, it will come, then shall they know that a prophet has been among them. So when these prophecies start coming to pass, these things we will call conspiracy theorists and nuts and all these things when these things come to pass, that's when people are gonna know that a prophet has been among them. They're gonna know, yo, those men, they were speaking facts. You got it?
Brother,
You gonna say something?
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's why we come out here and we aware, we waking the baby up, have a come 2 in 1, y'all get a chance, but let the brother get into it.
That's it.
This is Revelation 12 and 12.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, that ye... Mm-hmm. Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Mm-hmm. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea, for the devil has come down unto you, having great wrath.
So who inhabits the earth and the sea? We do. All right, and the other creatures. Now, why woe unto them? Because as a result of this devil coming with great wrath, even sea creatures are going to pay a price for it. You know, but people that are dwelling on the earth are definitely going to pay a high price for it. This devil is coming with wrath to the whole world, because his deception was a worldwide thing, and now that's wearing off, he's coming with wrath to the whole world. Haven't you noticed that there's a trend that all these world governments are following? Haven't you noticed that since the pandemic, the past 2 years, everybody started doing like this world coalition kind of thing. The whole world got to come together and do this. We see something happening in Europe. Now the U.S. got to do it. China's doing it. This place is doing it. Okay, but now at the same time, you're also seeing a division on a world, global scale. All right, Russia, Ezekiel 38, the Lord wasn't playing. As a matter of fact, we can also get Isaiah 13 and try to go through that. Because in there it talks about how the Lord is going to stir up the Medes, which the modern day Medes are the Russians. And that's why they're moving the way they're moving. Now they're expanding. They said Putin annexed 4 Ukrainian territories, which they said that they declared independence, and then they basically wanted to join Russia. So Putin said, yeah. Now the UN, everybody's trying to come against them and so on and so forth, but they said China, India, and I think Iran or somewhat didn't vote against against Russia for that. So the Lord is using these different situations that are happening to what? To further push prophecy. All right? What we got? That's it.
Because he knows that he have but a short time.
So these elites know they have a short time. Why? Number one, people are waking up. More and more people are waking up. Number two, these prophecies are being fulfilled. Each day we're out here is a problem for them. Because every time we're out here, somebody's hearing this word. Okay? And what makes it worse is that the things that are happening on a world scale, we're explaining via the Holy Scriptures, and people are starting to see and be like, yo, I don't like these guys, but they say something. I mean, look at what they're saying. It's happening, is it not? And you can't deny the facts. That's why the Lord, Yahushua said, if you're not going to believe me for the very work's sake, because you can't deny that. Right? If we tell you, according to prophecy, this is going to happen, you are, no, I don't believe that. And then it happens, now what? Who are you going to think of?
Straight to the point, with the Medes, Isaiah
13. Now you can start at the top. We're going to go through the whole chapter. But before that, did we finish in Isaiah 59?
We didn't get it.
All right, let's jump down to verse 19, and then we'll come back. We'll come to that, because, like I said, all of it is going to tie in on an individual level, right? Second Ezra, the 15th chapter, Second Ezra, the 16th chapter. All these things are going to start taking place. If you look at the cities the way they are right now, it's a completely different place. This is like the beginning of the purge. As a matter of fact, they're doing away with that cash bail law over there in Illinois. All right, which is gonna basically bring about a purge-like situation, you know.
And they were letting prisoners, I forgot from what city, on the borders.
Oh yeah, was it a South American city coming over here? Yeah. I think I forgot what it was, but it was like either a South or Central American city let out all their prisoners. They just let them out, and then prisoners said, "All right, we're going straight to the." And you got this bald-headed demon, right? This black, morbidly his head is deformed, ugly ass demon. What's his black demon's name? Eric Adams. Yeah, he's talking about, oh, we're gonna open up sanctuary cities and all of that for them. All right.
They building tents in Central Park for them right now.
Oh Lord,
that's really like concentration camp.
Yeah.
But they gonna let them loose because more lawlessness gotta break out here.
Exactly, and they're gonna do it. And now you're gonna have, you had some dude on the news talking about he's like, yo man, I could get attacked and end up in the hospital, and the person get out of jail before I get discharged from the hospital, so he could roam around and do some more shit. And now a lot of there's a whole lot of sexual assault, sexual battery cases that are happening, because now people are starting to realize that it's not they don't end up in the news. The police don't go after them. Ain't no detectives that are gonna do anything about it. They just go about doing their thing, and then that's it. You know, breaking into houses. This is all prophesied in the scriptures, but it's gonna intensify to a level where don't even try to call the cops. They're saying over there in Europe that due to this energy shortage, this winter you can expect more than likely cell phone signal is gonna be off, because they don't have enough energy to keep the network towers up. So now you can't make phone calls. Where's 911 gonna come from? You know, that's what these people don't consider, how their regular life is gonna change based on the things that are happening on a geopolitical level. They don't think about that.
And as you see, people ain't even respecting authority no more, because EMS worker just got killed.
Right.
And they about to let that man go because he had mental health issues. So by y'all guidelines, y'all making it more easier for people to commit crimes. You know?
Yep.
So y'all turning it up where it ain't gonna be nothing left but martial law.
That's right. But that's what they want. And they got so much control over the people that they know just how to lead you to your own demise. You know? And that's what they're doing. Look, man, these streets are going to become right now it's nothing. The Yahushua said these are the beginning of sorrows. You had the whole Hurricane Ian, you know, going around wreaking havoc, and they said now that's going to even mess up the supply chains even more. We're at a point now where every little thing that happens messes up, or it adds to the already the disaster that's already taken place. Every little thing that happens adds to it. So where we at?
Snowball effect.
Exactly, that's it. That's it. And it's about to mangle these people along with it. So the point is, when all these things happen, how are you gonna survive? Right? We have faith because our security is in the scriptures. The scriptures, the Bible, the same book that tells us these things are gonna happen is the same book that tells us what we should do when these things happen. So that's why we're not losing our minds. Every time we come out here, we're the so-called bearer of bad news. It's not our news. We're just preaching the message of the book. And a lot of people claim to believe in the book, but when we actually read out of the book, they get all mad and upset and in their feelings. You got it, bro.
This is Isaiah chapter 59, verse 19. So shall they fear the name of the Lord from the west, and his glory from the rising of the sun. When the enemy shall come in like a flood,
Which the sun rises in the east. But when the enemy shall come in like a flood, which is metaphorical, meaning, well, take a look at what's happening in Florida, right? When a flood comes in, it comes in from all sides, and it overtakes anything in its path. So that's pretty much what they're gonna come so in troops and masses, like what they call them, stormtroopers, right? Storm. So they're gonna come in like a flood to overtake you, overpower you. And the scriptures say when the enemy comes in like that, what's gonna happen?
the spirit of the Lord shall
The spirit, not the guns, all right, not the swords, not the flesh, but the spirit of the Lord is gonna do what?
shall lift up a standard against him.
And when you look into that standard, you have I believe that's the word that goes into basically to put to flight, you know, but it also goes into like a banner or a rallying point. Okay, when you set up a standard, say it's like a beacon or a sanctuary, you know, so whatever it's gonna be enough to protect us, okay, to push them back, and be like a safe space, you know, for the Lord's elect. Now the details of it we don't know. I can't tell you exactly how it's gonna be, but in Isaiah 40 it talks about how we're gonna be able to mount up with wings as eagles. We're gonna run and not be weary, walk and not faint. The scriptures say that no weapon that is formed against thee shall prosper. And then an example is the Apostle Paul. Can somebody find that? Yeah, see if you can find it in the bar. You got another precept. Real quick, actually get Ezekiel 20. Shalimah put it up. Ezekiel 21 and 11. And then find the precept in the book of Acts where, let's see about the word search here, where the Apostle Paul got bit by the serpent that jumped out of the fire. But that's an example of no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper, because what's supposed to happen to you when a venomous serpent jumps out at you and latches onto you? All right, you're supposed to be dead. Your blood is supposed to coagulate from the venom. All right, and then you're done. When you don't have blood circulation, you're gonna die. Okay, and when venom, they did an experiment when they mixed venom and blood. Coagulation means that your blood thickens, and it gets so thick to the point where it can't flow. And if it can't flow, you're done. You're dead.
Yeah, because the blood is connected to your nerves. If the blood don't get to your nerves, you become paralyzed.
Yep. What's the scripture? You could read that verse.
Ezekiel 21 and 11.
Yeah, 21 and 11.
All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 21, verse 11.
Yeah, I think it's this one. Acts 28, and you can just start at the top.
And it reads, and he hath given it to be
Slack it.
perfect.
Actually, go up to verse 7.
All right. Ezekiel 21, verse 7. And it shall be when they say unto thee, wherefore sightest thou? That thou shalt answer for the tidings.
Wait,
because
that's
it-
21 and 11, and 7?
Yeah, Ezekiel 21 and 7.
Yeah, slack it. Let me take a look here and see. Alright. Yep, slack it. Actually, verse 9.
All right. Ezekiel 21, verse 9. Son of man, prophesy, and say, thus saith the Lord. Say a sword is sharpened, and also furbished.
And what's that sword? Ultimately, the scriptures tell you that, I think it's in the book of Psalms somewhere, it says, deliver me from the wicked, O Lord, which is thy sword. Okay? So you got the Lord who's setting up Esau, but by way of his troops, his military, his plans, all of these things he's using to do what?
It is sharpened to make a sore slaughter.
So that lines up with what? Ezekiel 9 and 5. All right, slay utterly old and young, both men and maids and children. So the Lord is not going to regard your age or your sex or your gender or any of that stuff. Judgment is judgment. Judgment does not discriminate. The Most High doesn't look at the outward appearance. He looks within. And if you're a wicked spirit within, then you're going to get judged accordingly. Go ahead.
Right? It is furbished that it may glitter. Should we then make mirth?
So is this the time to be joking around? Is this the time to be, going to having the time of your life and not regarding the times, the seriousness of the times we're living in? No, because if you know, for example, say you're, I don't know, you work at a bank or something, and somebody comes in there with a gun, a group of men come in there with guns, and they hold the bank hostage, and they say, look, we want the government to give us $5 trillion, or we're gonna kill everybody in this bank. Are you gonna be in a time of mirth? Mirth means happiness, joy, laughter. You're gonna be doing that? You're gonna be giggling, passing notes to the teller that you've been eyeing for the past 2 months? No, you're not. You ain't gonna even have an appetite. You're not gonna want to. The only thing you're gonna be thinking of, the only thing you're gonna be hearing is your heart beating, right? Heart pumping on a 101 is what you're gonna be hearing. If Ron is watching, he'll get it. But yeah, that's all you're gonna be hearing. That's all you're gonna be focused on. You know, you ain't gonna be wanting to make work. So that's the same mindset now. Because why? You know that your life is in danger. You know that death is coming. So shall we make mirth? Go ahead.
All right. It can tempt the rod of my son as every tree, and he hath given it to be furbished, that it may be handled.
To be sharpened, so that it can be what?
Handled. This sword is sharpened, and it is furbished to give it into the hand of the slayer.
So not only is the sword being sharpened, but it's sharpened to be given to the hand of the slayer. So what can the slayer do with that? Is he supposed to just look at it and do magic tricks with it? No. A slayer's job is to slay. And the slayer's instrument of slaying is the sword. So the sword is being given to the slayer so he can do his job, which is to slay. Now the question you got to ask is, who is he going to slay? Go on.
Cry and howl, son of man, for it shall be upon my people.
For it shall be upon. So that answers the question.
That answers the question.
So now we know who is going to slay. That's why it's called what? Jacob's trouble. And just because you don't know that you're Jacob does not mean the trouble ain't for you. It's still for you. Not knowing you're an Israelite does not mean you're not an Israelite. That doesn't excuse you.
Right.
Oh, Professor, I forgot. I didn't know that there was a test today. Okay. Does that mean that there's no test today? No, it
Still
doesn't.
going to take the test.
Right. You know, that's why in Romans 3:3 it says, for what if some did not believe? The Most High doesn't care whether you believe what we're telling you or not. If somebody says, yo, I'm just giving you a heads up. Nah, bro, I don't believe that. That's okay. My job is just to give you a heads up. Heads up does not mean believe what I'm telling you. It's just for your FYI, for your information. Do whatever you will with it, but I'm just giving you the information. And that's what the Most High sent us here to do. The Most High didn't, that's why we don't go around trying to force people to understand what we're telling them. It's a warning. You either take heed or you don't. You know? Yo, watch out. There's a thing over there. That's all I can do. I'm not going to come and grab you and pull you. No. Watch out. Now, if you watch out, then good for you. If you don't, then you fall into it and you find out why I told you to watch out. That's the end of it. Our job isn't to come and convince you and no. Our job is to give you the message, inform you. Informing is different than convincing. Now, somebody might be convinced by the information, but as the Apostle Paul said in 1 Corinthians 3 and I believe 3 and 6, that it is not, we don't give the increase. The Most High gives the increase. We just plant the seed, okay? And the Most High is the one that allows it to grow and to fester and for it to manifest.
And we labor in the name of the Most High, so you can't say the Lord didn't tell you.
Right.
So we ain't the ones telling you. We just bringing out the word through His book. All right.
Yep.
So when the time comes and you be like, "Oh, I didn't know that." Yes, you did, because you heard it.
That's it.
And you chose the hear or forbear. That's what He tell you. Hear or forbear, meaning either you're gonna hear this or you're gonna forbear. You're gonna put it aside.
Right.
All right.
Yep.
But at the end of the day, man, you can't say the Lord didn't tell you so.
Because they don't see, but they don't respect us. They don't see us, so you don't respect. So Not exactly. But they don't respect us. So they don't see us as actual. That's why in Ezekiel 33, it talks about then they're going to know a prophet has been among them. Because when people think of prophet, they relate it to like from some divine power, like a messenger of some divine power. But where they go all wrong is they expect a prophet to automatically just like have these superpowers or something like that. Like, you know, you just fly up in the air whenever you want to type shit. No, a prophet is a messenger. Okay? A messenger to come, a messenger of the future. All right, he's coming to tell you what's going to happen before times. You see, but when the time comes, when they realize it, that's when they go, oh, so I was warned. Like you said, I was warned of the Most High. Warned of God. That's a good name to give somebody. Warned of the Most High. I'm going to look into that Hebrew word. Yep. That was it on that.
Yeah.
What you got?
I was looking for
That's Ezekiel 9 and 5. Yep. Yeah, actually you can start at 4. You know.
Who's the slayer, the destroyer? That's the one who we call the Smith. He gave the Smith to give the ultimate weapon for his destruction of himself and 2/3 of our people.
All right.
Okay? Just like you said, bro. Just because you don't know you Israel. Matter of fact, it was a little bit more on that, bro. And it says, when he said, crying, "How, son of man, for it shall be upon my people, it shall be upon the prince of Israel." And who's the prince of Israel? The people.
Yep.
Right?
Yep. Yeah, because you have those that are on a higher up, the so-called leaders that are supposed to know better. I believe it's in the book of Malachi. It talks about it, how they flay the skin of the people. You know, because is it not for you to know judgment, right? You old leaders of the people, but they know what's right, and yet they're misleading the rest, and it's their fault, but it's also the sheep's fault, because you have good food and bad food, and if you're being told don't eat that because that's bad for you, but you still eat it anyway, then that's on you. And of course you're gonna get judged, but the person feeding you the bad food is also gonna get judged, because they're putting a stumbling block before you, and the scriptures say you're not supposed to put a stumbling block before the blind. That was it?
Yes.
All right. Let's get that.
This is Ezekiel chapter 9, verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry.
Now the word mark, this is why it's important to see the reason we stress that you have to know at least some Hebrew and some Greek. It's not that you gotta come back speaking fluent Hebrew and you're able to read every single character, but you got to be able to know some words and, you know, look into these things, because one thing that people don't acknowledge when they read modern texts is the language transition. Clearly we know we're reading in English here, but originally the scriptures weren't written in English. They were translated, all right? Translation does not necessarily mean that it's not valid anymore. If that was the case, why would we believe what anybody says? If I'm hearing somebody speaking in Mandarin and I'm seeing it translated in English, I don't know, that's not valid. It's a translation. You can't believe that, right? Damn near every book we have today that has some historical ties is not valid, right? Because you got people that'll say, oh, the Bible's been translated so many times, so you can't have it. So any book that has historical ties, makes reference to history in English, it's not valid. Unless it's in the original language that it was in. That means the Quran. That means, because they got English versions, right? Because the majority of them, they can't read Arabic. Just like majority of people can't read Hebrew, they can't read all the old languages. So you translate it, right? But if you want to go according to that, then you got to do it for everything. You can't selectively do that. The Bible alone is invalid because it was translated. So any other book that was translated is invalid. Is that right? But the point is, you got to acknowledge that this book was translated. But translation does not mean it's incorrect. It just means that now you got to do your due diligence to get the complete understanding of something. If somebody comes and translates something, I don't know, how you say something, como estás, right? How are you, or how are you doing? That's English and Spanish, right? Does that mean that what I said in English is invalid just because it's not in Spanish? No, it doesn't mean that. But there may be, so that's one thing, that's an easy thing to translate. But not everything that's translated is going to be exact. And you really got to be careful with certain words but you also got to be careful with certain phrases, right? There's certain like jokes, for example, or certain sayings that when said in one language, it means something, but when you translate it, you have to translate it verbatim so it takes out the meaning from it. You know, sometimes it's how you say it. So when you translate it, it's not the same anymore. That's why I told you in the Apocrypha that certain things translated have not the same force in them, right? So now the point is, you got to acknowledge that this was originally written in Hebrew. So when you read the scriptures, in order to get the complete understanding, because English is a bastard tongue, is a bastard language, what that means is there are certain English words that mean different things. You can have one English word that means two things. I believe they call that either a synonym or an antonym or something like that. There's one of them that is one word that has two, that can be used differently.
Antonym.
An antonym, if I'm not mistaken.
There's two words that's
spelled the same way, right?
Oh, spelled the same,
but mean different things.
Yeah.
Exactly. And you have an example of the word bat, B-A-T. You have a baseball bat and you have a flying bat.
That's right.
That's the problem with the English language. If you read English without context, you can be confused at times. The word read and read, they're spelled the same way, right? So when you look at the word bat, you need context. Yo, that was a nice bat. Or
Another word.
what are
is
we talking
cap.
about?
Cap.
Cap.
You have a cap that
Right.
you put on your head, and then you have caps that seal things.
Yeah, exactly.
You know.
Exactly. Yep. No, yo, did you see that blue cap? What do you mean? Like, what do you mean that blue cap? Yeah, the blue cap that the dude had. What? I don't know what you're talking about. Are you talking about the cap on? Did he have a water bottle? Or are you talking about the cap that he had on his head? What are you talking? You need to give me context. That's the problem with the English language.
Salary cap.
Salary cap, yeah. So a cap on something, you know, a level cap, whatever it is. So you need context. This is why when you read the English, you read certain passages in English, you need to go back because maybe did you see the man with the blue cap in the if you go back into the previous language, the word cap might be bottle cap. You know, it might be, I don't know, some made up language, kusap, whatever. And kusap might actually mean bottle cap specifically. That word kusap might translate to, I made the word kusap as not an actual word. I don't even know what language that is, if it's a language, right? But for example's sake, say the passage you were reading said something kusap, right? The word kusap means bottle cap. So you may see blue kusap in the original language means bottle cap, blue bottle cap. But when you look in English and you read the passage, it might just say blue cap. So now, in order for you to understand, you got to say, okay, it says blue cap. Let me go back to the original word there. Oh, the word there is kusap. What does kusap mean? Oh, kusap means bottle cap. So here, what it's saying in English is it was a blue bottle cap. It just says cap, so that's how you. So that's why you'll see us sometimes read a passage and go into the Hebrew, the original language in there, in order to get the full understanding. And I said all of that because in here, when you go into the word Mark, read that verse again.
This is Ezekiel chapter 9 and 4.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lord said unto him, Go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the men that sigh and that cry for all the abominations that be done in the midst thereof.
Right, so set a mark upon the foreheads. Now, you got to deal with Mark. Once again, you need context, because Mark is one of those words, right? You can mark something, you know, but there's many forms of it. So when you say mark, well, what kind of mark are you talking about? You know, there's the markings on the wall. You know, there's marking somebody mentally, like scopeo in the Greek. So now you got to say, okay, let me go into the Hebrew word for mark to get some more context, and then you'll see that the Hebrew word for mark is thawa in this verse. The actual word in this verse is thawa, which is mark of exemption or exempt from judgment, an indicator that this person is exempt from judgment. So now when you read it, okay, what the verse means is the angel should set an indicator upon these men. It's not a physical thing, but it's an indicator that they're going to be exempt from the judgment to come. Because if you didn't know that, you say, well, what's the importance of just having a mark on your head? Hello?
That's right. that mark of exemption is the mark of letting us know that when the destruction do come, you know, we will be passed by. Just like the mark that was put on the doorpost during the days of Exodus, when the Lord commanded Moses to tell them to put the blood on their doorpost to save their firstborn children. All right, it's not the same as the mark, which is when you take that, you know, the seatbelt. You know, it's a whole different. It's a spiritual mark, like you said. It's a tawaf. All right. So when that's being said, you know, this verse right here is speaking of the elect. It's speaking of the chosen people who will be exempt from the destruction. All right. So it's important to know the difference between the wa and karagma. Okay. Because it's a big difference. Just like when you say the word bat and the bat that you swing with and the animal bat. If you say the man had a bat in his hand and you're not talking about the animal that he has in his hand, you're going to be totally misunderstood over the whole sentence that you just read. Okay? Same as cap. If you think that man has a cap on his head, but not the cap to seal a hole shut, you're going to be totally misunderstood on what you just read.
Right.
And what happens is a lot of teachers, they come with not having the full understanding of the words that they reading, you know?
That's right. Words form sentences, and sentences give meaning to things.
Like
That's
the
how you
word
form
breath.
languages.
When the word breath was being mentioned in Genesis, it's not the Lord blew into somebody's damn nostril. He put understanding on that person.
Right. Which is the spirit, and that takes a spiritual mind to understand that. You know? Now, going back to the point with the mark, now here's another interesting thing. You got multiple languages that can be translated into one. You can have one word in many languages, or many words in many languages that all translate to one English word. Because the word mark can go back to the Hebrew or the Greek word karagma, but it can also go back to the Greek word skopeo. But it can also go back to the Hebrew word thawat. So now you hear like, am I going back to Hebrew? Am I going back to Greek? What am I going back to? Hey, shalom on, bro. See you, bro. So you gotta have context to what you're doing, and that's why you gotta go back and say, okay, what was the actual word over there? That's the importance. That goes into being studious. Okay. So let's keep reading on that, Ezekiel. I think we're on the 5th verse now, right? So the 4th verse with the understanding means the Lord was telling the angel to set an indicator, right, of exemption, meaning that this person is exempt, this person is exempt, this person is exempt from what? From judgment. So just looking into the word mark alone tells you what the verse actually means. Because if you just, set a mark on them for what? Why should they have a mark on them? But now you see, it actually means to make them exempt from judgment. Oh, okay. So these men are going to be untouched.
Ezekiel 9:5. And to the others he said in my hearing, Go ye after him.
So to everybody else that doesn't have the mark of exemption, go ahead.
Through the city and smite.
Smite means to kill. So the Lord gave commandment to the angel to go after people that don't have this mark and what? And kill them. But wait, the Most High said that? I thought the Most High was loving everybody. Why would he say deliver some but then kill the rest? Isn't that a little too harsh and brutal? Well, it's written. I didn't make it up. The brother didn't make it up. That's what he just read. No, that Bible ain't real. Go on.
Let not your eyes spare.
So not only did the Most High say, everybody else that doesn't have this mark of exemption, go put them to death. But he said, when you do it, don't have pity. Don't let your eyes spare. Don't bat an eye to, don't look this way. No. Get every last one of them. Go on.
Neither have ye pity. Slay utterly, old and young, both maids and little children.
Meaning slay them without exemption. See, in this society, there's that, oh, she's a woman, don't touch her. Oh, that's a child, don't touch her. The Most High doesn't care about that. The Most High says slay them utterly, and then he tells you what kind, even women, yes, even little children, old people, young people, the Most High doesn't. That's why he's to be feared. A God with limitations is not a God to be feared. Because once you know those limitations, you just keep playing around them. Well, I know he ain't gonna touch the kids. You know what I mean? Or once I get to this age, he ain't gonna touch me. I do all the wickedness I want. If I know I'm over 70, the Most High, he ain't gonna hurt an old man. You know? So as an old man, I do whatever the hell I want to do. So then why would you fear the Most High? See? But he's to be feared because he don't give a damn if you're 2 months old. He don't give a damn if you're 103 years old. He don't give a damn where, who, what you are. You're gonna come back and get your judgment. Go ahead.
And woman.
And woman. Read that again. For the fifth verse. Yeah.
Verse 5. And to the others he said in mine hearing, go ye after him.
So there was one angel to mark for exemption, and the rest he said go after them. Go after the others that don't have the mark of exemption, and do what to them?
Through the city and smite.
And smite meaning kill.
Let not your eyes spare. Neither have ye pity.
Don't have pity on any one of them. I don't give a damn what they look like, how much they're crying, what stop story they're telling you, what childhood trauma they've had. I don't really care. Just put them to death. Go ahead.
Slay utterly.
Which means completely. Go ahead.
Old and young.
So whether you are an old person in a nursing home, or you are an infant inside the hospital, just got born, or whatever the case is, the Lord says slay utterly. You know? So them death angels, they're not coming to play. Now, the death angels can come in many forms. They could just possess somebody. And here it is, you got this dude that just walks up, and he just like, he's not even looking at you. He just grabs the freaking IV wire and just start wrapping your neck while your old ass is like, you thinking it's a nurse. The nurse is just standing there just choking your ass. Yo, help, nurse, help. And then another nurse comes in, and you think they're there to help you, and they come with another injection to come put your ass to death, lethal injection style type shit. So, hey man, if you are an old person, you need to be very humble because you're more vulnerable, you know. And really, the Lord has to have mercy, really on all of us. But some are more vulnerable than others. You have people that are in wheelchairs. What's going to happen to somebody that's crippled? You know. What about somebody that needs somebody to, you know, you have certain people that are so overweight, they actually need machines to lift them and turn them. They always need people around them to keep them. What are you going to do when all hell breaks loose? You think the nurse that always got an attitude and hates coming to work, all hell's breaking loose, you going to be the first one? She's thinking, oh shit, let me run across the street, you know what I'm saying, to my job to go watch over Miss Nancy because I don't know if any other nurse is coming. She ain't gonna remember you, man. You got people that are hooked up to certain machines, artificial lungs. They need this machine to constantly keep pumping. What happens when the lights go out?
Electricity going. The power went out just recently over Florida and all them southern states. You know, a lot of people was judged during that time. The death angels was out there.
And then and you had those that the Lord had mercy on, who He protected. And the rest, now you got dudes with alligators in their living rooms. That's crazy, man. you wake up in the middle of the night, you see some green eyes, because you know in the night their eyes, the light reflects off of it. You feel some movement and shit, and you turn on your flashlight. There's like 2 green eyes, then there's 4, then there's 6, and you wondering what the hell are these lights? Next thing you know, because that's when you'll see the eyes first, then you see the trout, the little mouth thing, and then they'll start swimming toward. That's when you know you're in trouble, you know. It ain't, because at first you may see little fishes here. Oh look, I got a fish swimming around to an alligator. Now there was a movie called Jaws, and I think there was this girl. She went back to try and get her father because her father was in the area where it was like a flood alert. She gets into the house, and I guess her father wasn't there. I haven't seen the movie. I'm going based off of the trailer, and she's trapped in the house with these supersized mega alligators, multiple of them. And this alligator must clearly know how to speak English because he knew exactly what she was saying. You know what I mean? He's like, man, them, because you in their territory. You know, you're not an amphibian. You're not a water breather. They're used to water, murky waters. They always in there, and them tails. Shit, man, get that shit away from me.
Yeah, like you said, they nocturnal. They can see in the dark. You walking right into the mouth. They just got hold their mouth open. You walk up, smack.
That's it. Yeah, because you know people in the middle of the night, you wake up, you half asleep and shit. Yeah, it is. You thinking it's the bathroom, but it's the alligator's mouth. Now you gone. Yeah, but the Most High got a sense of humor like that, because see, the person that's going through it, it ain't gonna be funny for them. But I mean, it may be funny to us. Not that we're some sick individuals, but first off, number one, laughter is not something you really control. There's some people that laugh at things, but they can't control it. They're like, I'm sorry, you know, like I really shouldn't be laughing, but I'm sorry, I can't control it. Because the Most High said what? He's gonna laugh at your calamities. Now the Most High is not gonna open the heavens and make you see him laughing at you, but he's gonna put the spirit on his men to laugh at you. No, that was it.
I was thinking about the guy that tried to wrestle an alligator.
Oh.
And the guy that's...
Oh yeah. But see, that's what you get for being an idiot. I think he got drunk, maybe with his Edomite buddies or whatever the case may be, and they got in a boat or a little kayak, whatever shit. And here it is, he sees the alligator and he thinks it's a good idea to jump and try to wrestle the alligator in the water. And I think he lost his rod, right?
Yeah.
It snapped it off, it whipped it with a tail, or whatever it did. Now his rod is gone. He sobered up, and now he's doing exhortation videos to others, saying don't be like me, because you know, over something stupid. I didn't have to jump in the water and wrestle an alligator, but I did, and now I had to pay a heavy price for it. So now that's it for the rest of his life. He's gonna be thinking about that alligator. Yeah.
That's Esau's nature. You know, you got that Crocodile Dundee, the guy that got killed. That's I mean, that's what they do.
Yeah.
They think they can play around with wild animals.
Yep.
Crazy.
Yep. You always see them with them big lions, the big cats.
Right, yeah.
Oh, he recognizes me. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Go in there when he's hungry and see if he recognizes you.
Yeah, that's prophecy too, because when mentioning Esau, he says he's a man of the field.
Yep.
And the dangerous and daring things, the key word daring, like you daring the Lord to make something, let something happen to you.
Right.
When you death defying, the word death defying is like you defying death. You looking death in the eye and said, I defied you and I overcome something that you shouldn't be trying to overcome, like bungee jumping or mountain climbing.
Right.
You know, it's ridiculous things to do, and then when you die, they try to make a big newscast about it, but that's good for you.
Right.
That pride Esau got.
Huh? Yeah, no, that makes sense, right? Because why would you turn something like that into a sport? You see, you got people that know it's dangerous, but they only do it because it's become like a normal kind of thing. It's an activity. Hiking. What do you get from hiking? Oh, I'm just gonna try to climb this big ass rock and just fucking for what? Knowing the potential risk of that, like you said, bungee jumping. You want to jump off of a high end with a rope, hoping it doesn't snap. For what? Oh, it's an activity. Only an Edomite would think of some shit like that. Hey, let's tie a rope to ourselves and jump off a high end, and then we'll go all the way down and get caught and then spring back up. Number one, you already put in stress. The second you hit that low point and the string stretches to its max, that's the part where it's more likely to rip. And if say the Lord got a death angel right there with some scissors. All right, got you, buddy. Boom. Now you know that's you wondering how the rope ripped. Oh shit, how did that happen? Why were you there in the first place?
They got a forum for it on ESPN called X Games, Extreme Games. And Jake don't watch that shit.
Right.
We don't watch that because we looking at y'all like y'all the most dumbest. Like, what are you doing? Like, going 200 miles per hour down a ski slope where it's potential you could smack into a tree or your skis might trip up and you tumbling all the way down for another mile or so. Like, who does that, man? That's y'all people, man. And he set y'all up to be mocking. When we laugh about y'all calamity, don't get mad at us.
Hey, just last week, a former NFL player was talking about when he died. Yeah.
Oh yeah?
So like, just like a couple days ago.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
That's crazy. He ain't got no business doing that, man.
Right.
That's why it says Jacob, he dwelt his ass at home, man. Why the hell would I want to go out? What am I going to get from that? But you know what? We're going to have lots of games for you in the kingdom. You like these daring games? You like to go and hug lions and stuff? We're going to see them lions in the kingdom, they're going to be much bigger. These lions and tigers here, they're just like us. We lost stature, so did these animals. Big lions is what I'm talking about. You're going to be facing in the kingdom. You want to, and this time that's what they like to do. They like extreme sport, X Games, right? So we got some X Games for you then. You know?
Fight game. when they riding the bull.
Yeah.
Just jerking themselves around.
Yep.
He gonna hit, and they get hit with them horns too sometimes.
Yeah.
When they
They do. Yeah.
like bulls, when you running out, when the bulls, they got a stampede of bulls, and they running to try to get away from them, they gore your ass up. Man.
Yep. There was a video of I guess it was a classroom experiment. They had a whole bunch of students lined up in like rows, and then they just let a wild bull out. And they were like basically to experiment to show that if the bull doesn't feel threatened, it's not gonna touch anybody. Now in the video, the bull came out charging and just ran right through them. It didn't touch any of them. It just ran right through them.
Wow.
But I'm gonna throw red paint on them, and then let's see what the bull does. That's what you get for being in there. You know, part 2 to this shit. You know, but they got that TV show, How to Tame a Dragon. Well, maybe we'll unleash some real dragons and have you tame some of them. You know, like in they think this is a Game of Thrones, Dragon Riders. Nigga, a real dragon is ferocious. A real dragon is they're not here to come down and let you tame them and then you call their name Dracarys and they spraying that fire on your ass and shit. You try Dracarys, see what real dragon gonna do to you. But now let's get back in here.
Ezekiel 9:6, slay utterly old and young, both maids and little children and women.
So maids and little children. Now in this, if a little kid does something, especially somebody that's not your kid, and you even yell at them or look at them a certain way, people gonna start giving you looks. You know, somebody yo, watch where you going. Is this a little kid? The Lord says slay little children. So you're gonna have that. They're not gonna be exempt. Because you got especially a lot of these little kids coming up, they're not mannered. You know, they walk around because they feel like they can do whatever. They can run their parents at home, so they can run anybody in the world. When judgment comes out, the Lord, he ain't even trying to hear that. Go on.
But come not near any man upon whom is the mark.
See? So that now if you didn't look up the word mark, you'd be, well, why? Okay, they put a mark on them. Now you said don't come near them, but why? What's so significant about the mark? But now you understand what does the word mark actually mean. Now, and when you read in Revelation, you might get confused. Because wait, the scriptures say we shouldn't take the mark, but then it says that give them the mark, and then for those that have the mark, the judgment ain't gonna touch them. But then it says those that have the mark, the judgment is gonna burn them. So what does this mean? Because in English, there's no differentiation, right? The whole book, New Testament to Old Testament, is in English. If you see one mark here in Revelation, is the same M-A-R-K. But if you read the original text, you know, oh wait, no, we're dealing with Hebrew, we're dealing with Greek. So I'm dealing with this ain't Mark, this is Tawa, this is Karagma, this is Scopeo. I know these are different words, but in English I don't know that. It's just one word. This is why you gotta be studious. This is why you gotta study to show yourself approved. That was it on that?
And then set aside.
The beginning of my century.
That's all right. What else did you have? Acts, right? Let's get into that. Because we mentioned how no weapon that is formed against you shall prosper. Also, I think there's a preach. I think it's in Psalms 18 where King David was talking about how the Lord basically made. He said a bow of steel is broken in my hand. I've leaped over walls. I think it's Psalms 18th chapter, if I'm not mistaken. He was basically going over the feats that he was able to accomplish through the spirit and power of Yahweh B'Ashem Yahushai. I just want to get that, and also the acts of the mighty men of David. Yeah. But yeah, let's bring this out in Acts. You can start at the top. Because it goes to show you, see now, these were men that had, there's historical accounts and records of these men. They existed. And they performed these acts. You know? So, guess what? If we believe the same things they did, and the Lord said we're going to do the works that he did, we're going to do in greater. You got it?
This is Acts 28:1. And when they were escaped.
Now, I believe at this time the Apostle Paul had been I guess the Jews basically tried to kill him. So you had the centurion, what's his name, Julius, who basically took him to I forgot where it was. I think it was maybe Antioch or somewhere along those lines, where he had to basically go before either Felix or Festus. I know one of them came in before the other, and then he spoke to King Agrippa, and then all that, and then he appealed to Caesar. And because Paul appealed to Caesar, they had to take his case all the way up to Caesar, so they had to take him up to Rome. And so he was under the care of Julius, the centurion, to take him over there. And when they were going over there, they had to board a ship, I believe, from to Cyprus, and then down to they made a couple of stops, but I know they came down to Crete, all right, and then they were gonna go from there to like Malta, and then and then over into Italy. Now, this I believe they were on the island of Crete with those they call barbarians, and basically this is the account over there because the ship had got hit. Oh, okay, Melita, the water. So basically the ship had got pretty much messed up. You know, I don't remember the story too clearly, but the ship had got messed up, and so they ended up on this island over here, and this is what happened. Let's read it.
And when they were escaped, then they knew that the island was called Melita.
Uh-huh.
And the barbarous people showed us no little kindness, for they kindled a fire and received us every one.
No little kindness, meaning they showed them a lot of kindness, right? It's just Old English. It's a professional Old English for if something is not little, what is it? It's a lot. So no little kindness meaning they showed us a lot of kindness. Go ahead.
Because of the present rain and because of the cold.
Right. So they started a fire. They took them to receive them in. Go ahead.
And when Paul had gathered a bundle of sticks and laid them on the fire, there came a viper out of the heat.
So there was a snake hiding in the sticks, right? In the F word. And so when he put it in the fire to keep the fire going, that shit said, damn, it's hot. So he jumped out. Now, it's possible that when he put him there, he was likely close to it. So when that serpent jumped out, it saw the Apostle Paul. Go ahead.
And fastened on his hand.
Fasting, now, when you fasten something, it means you hold on to it tight, right? Fasten your seatbelt. So fasten, like you said, in this case, it would be with his teeth, right? Jumped onto his hand, whichever part it was, and then latched on. And the second they have serpents within their teeth, they have glands, and once they latch onto you, that the glands open and the venom, like a drop, pumps into you, into your blood vessels, your whatever. So the Apostle Paul had a serpent that jumped and latched onto his arm. Go on.
And when the barbarians saw the venomous beast hang on his hand, they said among themselves, no doubt this man is a murderer.
Yep. So the second they saw the serpent jump on him, they said, oh, he's done. He's a murderer. Because, go ahead.
Whom though he had escaped the sea, yet vengeance suffereth not to live.
Right. So they were basically saying, they believed in that whatever goes around comes around. Right. So you may have escaped the storm. I think it was Euroclydon, the name of that storm. But you may have escaped the storm, but you must have really done something bad because that judgment follows you, and now you just got bit by a snake. You know? That's it.
Verse 5. And he shook off the beast into the fire.
So as it was obviously he ain't gonna leave the serpent latching onto his arm, so he shook it off, or he grabbed that shit and threw it into the fire. Which is it's interesting, right? You got people today, a snake will be hanging off your hand, but you're so afraid of the snake that you can't touch it, but you want it off your hand. You know what I'm saying? Get this shit off, you get it off. It's on your hand. But anyway, he threw it into the fire. Go ahead.
And felt no harm.
So here it is, the snake done latched onto him, stayed there for a minute, enough for the barbarians to see it and make their observation. He throws into the fire, and nothing happened to him. Go on.
Howbeit they looked when he should have swollen.
Right. So once that bite, there was supposed to be some swelling, some redness, something around there indicating that the venom is now starting to travel inside of his bloodstream. Go ahead.
Or fallen down dead suddenly.
Right. Because that must have been a venomous snake, right? And that's what happens. You get bit by a snake. Even if it's like a minute or two, you collapse, like you said. Your blood coagulates, your arteries don't get the blood, you get paralyzed, you fall down, you die. Right? Go ahead.
But after they had looked a great while, and saw no harm come to him, they changed their minds and said that he was a god.
See? Which more than likely they were Jake's. But they were like, oh, hold on one second. This guy's supposed to be dead. That's like, all right. That's like you say somebody gets shot, right? They cut the corner and then 3 shots to the chest. Boom, boom, boom. 1 to the forehead. Boom, right into their dome. You're like, yeah, this guy's dead. He's probably just standing there. He's about to drop anytime soon. Then the guy just keeps walking. Keeps walking, keeps walking. He sits down at the bus stop. He opens his book bag. He takes out some chips, some water. He starts eating and shit. You're like, what? You know, in the beginning, you're like, yo, he just killed the dude. But the guy's not dead. He's still walking. What is going on here? Or maybe it's the adrenaline pumping. He's still walking. You don't see any bullet marks. You don't see anything like that. And the guy's sitting there eating chips at the bus stop, and he just got shot 3 times and really 4 times, one in the forehead. Now they're like, oh, this is not a guy. He's more than a guy. There's something going on over here. So pretty much with them, that's what they said. They said, yo, hold on, this guy, he ain't no man. He's not a murderer. This guy's a god. Go on.
In the same quarters were possessions of the chief man of the island, whose name was...
Okay, I think that was really the point on that. So the point was that the Most High protected the Apostle Paul. Now, why wasn't the Apostle Paul bugging out? Oh my gosh, I just got bit by a snake. Oh Lord, I've been doing your work for so long. You don't have me bit by a snake, now I got to die. First off, the Apostle Paul did die. He was stoned to death. He died. They threw his body outside the city, and then he came back to life. So why would he be scared? You know what I mean? Now, I don't remember if that happened before or after. More than likely, I think he got stoned before this, because once he was taken to Rome, that was pretty much it, I believe. But the Apostle Paul done died, went to the spirit world, saw it, couldn't describe what he saw, came back down on the earth to continue doing the work. You know? How many people can say, yeah, I died and came back? And I'm worried about a snake bite? But that's that faith, and that's why the scriptures say that we're going to be protected. You know, here it is. You might walk. Hey, there's numerous occasions of people dying by a stray bullet. You know, oh, she was going home from work and then she got she got caught in a gun shootout. But
Girl in Crown Heights
that's
over
it.
the week.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. I didn't even remember that.
Brother got Psalm 18 that you remember.
Oh, that's it. Now I was gonna make this quick point. Now, the Lord said that we're gonna be protected. You're gonna have those that are gonna die for the Lord, but you're also gonna have those that the Lord said there be some of you which shall not taste of death till you see the Son of Man coming. Right? That means that if a stray bullet comes, it might not hit you. You know, it might reflect off of your body. It might just, you know, if somebody throws like a little paper ball at you and you don't even feel it, and you just walking around, and later on you might find out that was the actual bullet. You're like, what the fuck? Wow, that shit it didn't even pierce me, because the Lord said you ain't gonna die, you ain't gonna die. Now they said the Apostle John, they said that when they basically, I guess, put him on trial or whatever, they were gonna kill him by drenching him in boiling oil. But they put him in there, and when they brought him out, he was perfectly fine. And they couldn't harm him, so they banished him to the island of Patmos. You know, so, yeah, the Most High, you know, when he says you protected, you protected. Daniel was in the lion's den, and them now these are some hungry lions. And they didn't touch him.
They starved them on purpose.
Yeah, they starved, exactly. And they didn't touch him. Now the Lord made sure Daniel was fed, because he sent Habakkuk over there to go feed Daniel. You know? So the Most High says you're going to be good, man. Trust me. You ain't got nothing to worry about. That's why we have accounts to remind us of these things. Yeah, you can bring my point there.
Real quick point, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego put in the furnace.
That's it.
Fire.
That's it.
That's it.
Yep. And it says when they came out, they didn't even have the smell of fire on them. Their hair wasn't singed. You know how easy it is for your hair to catch fire? But none of that.
And when King Darius threw the other men that blamed Daniel of praying, the lions quickly devoured.
They caught him before they even touched the ground. That's it. That's it.
My Father gave me an assignment, Daniel 1 through 9. So I was
I see you can read. I see you can read. That's it. That's it.
Nice.
Where do you want for Psalms 18?
Nah, let me see if I can find the verse. Yeah, appreciate it, bro.
I was just gonna say, like anytime like a prophet of the Lord, like when the people were scared of something, prophet of the Lord would go into the different accounts that happened before their time to basically like
34.
motivate the people.
Yeah, you can start at verse 30, Psalms 18 and 30, and you can read on down to. Woo, wow, this is good. Read on down from verse 30 to the end.
It's the book of Psalms, chapter 18 and verse 30. As for God, his way is perfect.
The Most High's way is perfect. That's why you don't question the Most High. If the Most High tells you to do A, you do A. This is why the Lord was pissed off at Samuel. Well, not Samuel, Saul. Because he told Saul, do A, Saul went and did B. Do you know more than the Most High? No, you don't. He said, go and slay everybody, right? Slay the Amalekites, don't spare none of them. I brought the king, I brought the best that we could do some sacrifices. I thought the Lord might like it. See? The Most High didn't ask you for that. If I want oranges, give me oranges. Don't come, they had a discount for oranges and apples. And your money would have done both, so I did that for you. The Most High don't want no apples. You know? So his way is perfect. So that's why when we teach the word of the Lord, we teach it perfectly. We don't take away, we don't add to it. That's how you keep it perfect. Go ahead.
For the word of Yahweh is tried. He is a buckler to all those that trust in him.
Right, he's a shield. He's a buckler to all those that trust in him. And what is he going to shield us from? All the dangers out here. So when people say, oh, what are you going to do when this happens? We're going to put up our shield, which is Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. Real quick, can the brother get Psalm, Proverbs 18 and 10?
I had a quick thing. Like the dream the elder Manak Tazak had when it was like last week when like everything was cool and then all of a sudden people started turning to vampires and they started chasing him.
Oh shit, really?
Yeah, and then every time one would they were vanishing and then one would reappear and try to attack him, he would call on the name of the Lord and then they were missing. And then like when he was running there would be war, the devils were forming walls in his path, and then he just called on the name of the Lord. He just jumped over the walls.
Oh shit!
Yeah, it was
beautiful, man. Yeah, I remember. I've had dreams where, and it shows you how strong our belief is because your beliefs go even into your dreams. You know, I've had dreams where in the dream you don't usually control what you're doing, but in the dream, whenever I was in trouble, I would always call on the name of the Lord, and I would always be delivered. I remember there was zombies and I was trapped in like this like closet. I locked myself in there because I'm like, yo, these zombies are outside. They about to, freaking like kill me, And I'm like, in the dream you feel like it's real, so you scared. And I called on the name of the Lord and I'm like, I have no option. I called on it out of desperation. And then I opened the door, ran, and I jumped off. It was like one of them, like a terrace or something like that. And I jumped off of it, and right before I landed, I started flying. I was like, yeah, I'm out of here. This is crazy. Yeah, but in dreams, man, it's like, what we believe is so strong that even in your dreams, like I remember sometimes I've had dreams where I would be in a situation where it's like, you'd be tempted to do something that you know is completely off, and you wouldn't do it. But I remember sometimes I wake up from the dream and I'd be all happy and shit. I'm like, oh, thank you, Lord. Thank you for that being a dream. Because I'd be so afraid. Because that's how much we believe when we believe that even in our dreams, we're not going to want to go off.
Dream that I had this week, I was, Eric Adams and a group of people came busting down my door, talking about, y'all want clean water, but you got to get the mark.
Wow.
And they had one of my cousins as an enforcer with them. And I'm like, yo, Rob, what you doing with them? He was like, yeah, they got me. This was the way I could get out of jail or whatever. And I'm like, so what you gonna do? Take me down if I say no, I don't want it? He was like, nodding his head, like, yeah. So I said, I'm not taking it. I kissed my family goodbye, and for some reason they put me to sleep on whatever device they had, and I woke up, and it was like I was in some type of dungeon, looking like hell or some shit, just red, fiery chambers, and I was able to get out of there. And when I got outside, there was like an enforcer, like, yo, you thought you got away? And then he kind of like put on this suit of armor, like to protect them from whatever combatants I had to try to get away. And the only thing I had left was to just scream out, Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai. And then coming around the corner was a giant Yahweh, like taller than any of these buildings around here. And it was like, I said it 2 more times, and he just like reached down and grabbed me with his 2 fingers and pulled me out that situation. I was screaming it like, I never yelled that loud. It felt like my voice echoed. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai.
That's it.
And yo, man, they whole fleet, whatever they had lined up in the streets, it's similar to this block. They just was shocked that they was worrying about Yahweh coming. He was giant, bro, like scooped me right up, bro. And I was like, that's amazing that you had various dreams like that. But this is like one of my first. And you said the elder, that's reassuring.
Yeah.
You know, the name is power.
Hell yeah. Heaven yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's right. Yeah, that's it. Who got it?
Oh, I got it. Yeah, 18 and
10.
10. This is Proverbs chapter 18, verse 10.
Hey, and as a matter of fact, man, and that's why we push the name so much, because that's how important it is. If you don't want to use the name, that's on you. You don't use it, but that's your defense. You're literally saying, I got a defense, but I don't want it. I'm gonna call it Jesus. So go call on Jesus then. But we gonna call him Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Guess what? If you don't want to use the name, that's on you. You gonna pay the price for that. We gonna keep using the name Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai until the day that we die. And if we have to die in that name, we're gonna do it. You know, it's not by force. We're not gonna force you to use the name. You know, and you just gonna deal with whatever comes with it. But I'm running into that strong tie. I don't give a damn what you think this shit is. All right. What's up with these people, man? These people are delusional as hell, man. Jake is just. But you know what? It's the spirit of the Lord. The Lord, there's some people that he just doesn't want them to have that access to that tower. You know, so that's okay. But if I see you coming, you calling on that name, I'm gonna close that door on you. I'm gonna be the type that close the elevator on you, press the close button and shit. I don't want you coming to this elevator. But nah, yeah.
All right, this is Proverbs 18 and 10. Chapter 18, verse 10. Mm-hmm. The name of the Lord is a strong tower.
It's not just any tower, which in the tower is referred to like a fortress. It's a strong tower.
That's right.
Okay, the strongest tower. That's why these devils. Why do you think the number one name that they push so much is Jesus? Why do you think they didn't even keep the complexion? They didn't. No. They changed the hair, the complexion, and the name. They said no. And that Jesus is such a stronghold because these devils are so afraid of us using the name of the Lord that they're like, I don't give a damn what you have to do. Keep that name. Matter of fact, don't even let them read or write. You know, don't let them do none of that stuff. So they are petrified that we learn to read and write, and we got the name of the Lord in the Hebrew, and we got English Bibles. How the hell do you get Hebrew when you got English Bibles? You go into because when you go into Exodus and you go here in the Hebrew, how the hell do you know that? You didn't even finish college, and you out here breaking down Hebrew to me? See, and what makes them even more afraid is that they know that it's the power of the Lord. Ain't no Jake that walks around with the condition we in is going to have this knowledge that we have. Impossible. It is not humanly possible. Even these scholars that pay all this money to go and study these things don't have the knowledge that we have. They may understand in history, but when it comes to prophecy, we got them beat. And then now they're watching our videos. How do you think they feel? They turn on the video, see your brother, you got your beard is all half here, your hair is a little regular. They're like, look at this nigga right here. I gotta listen to him. But if I don't come to him, I ain't gonna get the answers. Imagine how that must make them feel. Because in their mind, we're inferior to them, and yet they have to come down to us to come and get something that they need.
And hey, that's how we know some other camps that took the back.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because they have either changed the name or again, like you said, are using Most High in Christ or Jesus and all other nonsense.
Right. Yep. That's right. And the Lord's gonna make you pay for that. Because you're misleading. Like once again, you're putting a stumbling block before the blind. But yeah, finish up and read that again in Proverbs, and then we'll go back to Psalms.
Okay. Proverbs chapter 18, verse 10. The name of the Lord is a strong tower. The righteous runneth into it and is safe.
And it's safe. You see? So that's why we're not stressed. Because the name of the Lord, and you got to be excited because we're getting ready to see miracles of the Lord. Look, when your life is threatened, that's an opportunity to witness the deliverance of the Lord. Because if you truly believe in the Lord and you say, Lord, there's literally nowhere else for me to go, you know I'm not going to give in to these devils. I'm just going to call on your name. That very moment is an opportunity to see the miracles of the Lord. Because something is going to happen. Something is going to happen in that moment because he's not a liar, right? And he said you're going to be safe. So it's either the Lord becomes a liar or he delivers you. Clearly he's not a man that he should lie or the son of man that he should repent. So in that moment, you can expect deliverance. Some way, somehow, it's going to happen. And we see lower level examples in our lives right now. But when it gets to the point where your actual life, if the Lord delivers you from things that aren't even life-threatening, how much more for when your actual life is on the line? If the Lord wanted you dead, why would he even deliver you from these little things? You know? If the Lord wanted you dead, he would have killed you a long time ago. He wouldn't have given you his name. He wouldn't have brought you into the truth or given you this opportunity. He wouldn't have blessed you with the spirit of sincerity or the gift of faith. He would have just said, leave his ass out there. So you gotta, you know, Well, Lord, you done delivered me before, but why? If you wanted me dead, why would you deliver me then? Perfect opportunity, right? But yeah, that's enough that. Get back into the book of Psalms.
And hey, we just see how bugged out Jake is and Eve is, just to have this knowledge and the spirit, through the spirit, power, mercy, grace, and how much shot. I mean, just that alone is like call Allah.
That's right. We're blessed. We're blessed above blessed.
Yeah.
So when the scriptures say, you got to believe it. When Yahweh said, "Blessed are your eyes, for they see," you know that even the angels desire to look on these things. We have something that even the angels desire to look on. Imagine how powerful that is. That the angels who exceed in might, that are in the heavens in the presence of the Lord, are like, damn, man. Nah, but I gotta do my job. So how really we don't even though we know what we're doing, we don't understand the actual magnitude of what we are actually doing. Because outside it looks like this, right? Look at us. We're just here, we got the Bible, we're just speaking to the camera and just teaching out here. So it seems like, oh, we just come out and teach the Bible, we just do our lessons online, we get a couple views here and there. But if the Lord was to actually open up the magnitude of the importance of what we're doing, you'd be like, yo, this is on some like, this is beyond imagination. See, during the time of Yahweh Shai and the prophets of old, it was just like this. It's now that we read about it that we think about it like, oh man, wow, he did this, oh, he did that. But in their time, it was like this. Nobody was really listening. Only a few that followed here and there. Just like the few that follow us here and there. But in the kingdom, these works that we're doing, these moments are going to be special. You know, because people, yeah, man, these were the prophets going out in Babylon. You know, pre-Babylon, pre-Babylon destruction. They were going out in season, out of season. The same way we read about the men of old, we're going to be spoken about.
Book of Psalms 18:31. For who is God save Yahweh? For who is a rock save our power?
That's right. Go ahead. Oh,
it is God that girdeth me with strength.
So, and see, this is why the Lord loved King David so much, because he was very humble and he always returned back to the Lord. See, there's one thing about somebody always, see, you could be perfect your whole life. But if you're proud and arrogant and you because you can have somebody that does so well, they forget their roots. They forget that they were at one point in a low place and who brought them up from that place. That's the problem with a lot of kings. When you read in the book of Kings, you had a lot of kings who the Lord dealt with and blessed, but then when they got up, their heart departed from the Lord because they became proud. And the scriptures say pride is when one departs from his maker. So that's why the Lord was like, oh, there goes another one. I thought he had potential, but there he goes. But the thing with King David is, even though he went off, his heart was always after the Lord. That's why when he went off, he acknowledged his sins and he repented and turned right back to his power. And even King Solomon, who was Yahweh Shai in the reincarnation, the problem was his heart at the end, in his old age, his heart departed from the Lord. So that's what the Lord is looking for. He knows we're not perfect outwardly, but loyalty, that's what the King David had. King David had loyalty to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahweh Shai all his life. Ever since he was a kid, how do you think he took down Goliath? Because he trusted the Lord, even from his youth. And everything he did, like we're about to read, he said, Lord, it is you. All these songs that he wrote, he was giving credit to the Lord. Saying, look, I was only able to do this because, Lord, you put me here. You did this for me. You were with me. You enlarged my feet. Because of you, I did this. Because of you, I did that. So he was always giving credit to the Lord. And the Lord is like, yes. When you do what's pleasing to the Lord, he's going to bless you. It's like a cycle. You do what's pleasing to the Lord, he blesses you. You continue to do what's pleasing to the Lord, he blesses you. And the cycle keeps going on and on and on and on and on. So you got to pray for the Lord to put the spirit within you to want to do the things that please him. Because when you do the things that please the Lord and you like doing that, he's always going to give you what you like, and you always going to keep that cycle going. You know, you got to, if there's something that you feel you're lacking in, just pray to the Lord. He can change that, but you have to want that change.
It is the power that girdeth me with strength, maketh my way perfect.
Right, so it's not of him, but of the Most High. Go on.
33. He maketh my feet like hinds feet, and setteth me upon my high places.
So he was acknowledging that Matter of fact, whenever, see, how can you go to war and slay tens of thousands and come back untouched? The Lord made his feet like hinds feet, so he was moving very fast. Like you watching these animes and stuff, and this guy's taking on thousands of people, and it's like he's seeing everybody in like split seconds. Get this guy here, and all this stuff. That's because the Spirit of the Lord was upon him. Right now, you fight somebody one-on-one, you already tired. Look at a boxing match. By the time they get to round 12, and in war, there's no, all right, yeah, here's the bell, everybody take a break. No. In war, you in war until it's over. You know? So it doesn't matter how tired you are. Number one, you're swinging a sword. A sword is heavy. In order for a sword to do damage, it has to be heavy. You're holding a giant shield. Do you know how heavy them shields are? Some of them shields you can't even pick up with two hands. And these men were picking up with one hand, with a shield, with armor, so imagine just after like 3 or 4 swings, you're already exhausted. And you got to go to war fighting all these people. There's somebody coming from your right and your left and in front of you. What happens after you take out 3 people and you tired? They gonna kill you on the battlefield. So that's why he acknowledged that it had to be the Spirit of the Lord that was upon him. Because when the Spirit of the Lord is upon you, you're not limited to the normal human attributes. That's why Samson was able to go rogue and kill the 1,000 people with a jawbone of an ass. Now he didn't feel the thirst, but after the Spirit left him, that's when he felt that thirst. Because if he felt the thirst in the midst, he would have became exhausted. So the Lord said, no more of that shit. Put my Spirit upon him and let him get to work on him. After that, you can give him some water.
Verse 34, he teaches my hands to war, so that a bow of steel is broken by my arm.
So how did King David become an expert at war? Of course, he would train, but really it was the Lord that like it says, he teaches my hands to war. Because think about it, right? How is it that you have a basketball team, right? You have all these different players, but you have key players on the basketball team, and you have other players. Now, there are some cases where the other players work just as hard as the key players, and yet the key players are still just better. So what's the difference? We do the same workouts. I put in the same work. You put in the same work. Why are you just better than me? Because some of them just have the Spirit in them to do that. Musicians and artists, you could practice the piano 10,000 hours a day, and somebody else could practice it 5 hours a day, and they'll still be better than you. Because it's the Spirit that's upon them to do that. That's why even an example is the talents the Lord gave brothers. Like he said, he gave everybody different portions, spiritual gifts. So the Lord didn't put everybody on the same level. That's why you don't level up according to the next brother. You level up according to you. Okay? Because we're not starting on the same levels. You're not competing with the next brother. You're competing with yourself. If the next brother was given 1 talent and you were given 2, and you said, well, I'm going to get 4 talents, but he's only going to get 3. I'm better than him. No, you're not, because he started with 1. You started with 2. So you can't say I'm going to make 3 and now, I made 3, he only made 2, so Lord, I'm doing good. No, you're not. You only made half more than what the Lord gave you. So you got to go based off of yourself. You got to look, okay, I'm looking at myself. How was I when I came into the truth? How was I a year, 2 years, 3 years? Am I progressing, or am I in the same place? And you know yourself. You can tell. I mean, if you're honest with yourself, you can tell whether you're progressing or whether you're not.
And that's how, we know it's a sign that we dominate everything. Sports, entertainment, music. I mean, that's a clear sign that we are the chosen people. Even through all this oppression, we still dominate. So, hey.
A beautiful boy. Yeah.
Verse 35. Thou hast also given me the shield of thy salvation, and thy right hand hath holding me up. And thy gentleness hath made me great.
Yeah, and the same thing, as we go through Jacob's trouble, as we even push in this ministry, it's all the Spirit of the Lord that's holding us through. That keeps us coming out here every single week, that keeps us doing these lessons, that's going to keep us in the time of Jacob's trouble. It's the Spirit of the Lord. Go ahead.
Verse 36. Thou hast enlarged my steps under me, that my feet did not slip.
Yeah, because if your feet slipped, you would have been dead. So the Lord kept them firm. He kept them stable in war and in life.
37. I have pursued mine enemies and overtaken them. Neither did I turn again till they So they were consumed.
So he didn't stop. He didn't look to his left. He didn't look to his right. He was laser focused on grabbing on them enemies, and he didn't stop till they were consumed. That's how we gotta be. We can't stop until we reach our goal, and our goal is salvation. So there's no stopping. This is war, and in war there's no breaks. You don't get to take breaks when you're on the battlefield. The war doesn't stop because it's like, oh, let me rest my. Somebody's coming with a sword. He ain't trying to rest. See, the second you may have been fighting 10,000 other people, but guess what? They got 10,000 others who are fresh and ready to come into the war. So you got to remember that your enemies are always rejuvenated. These demons, they don't get exhausted like you. Demons don't get tired. Demons don't get hungry. Demons don't say, all right, well, I just came from work, so let me get something to eat and then maybe I'll do a lesson. They don't do that. Their lesson is 24/7 after your ass, you know. So the time you take, they're on the job. Demons are clocked in 24/7, 24/7. And if you are not doing the best you can, see, you may not be clocked in 24/7, but when the period that you clocked in, you better be putting in maximum work. So when they come, your mind can be strong enough to fend them off, because they're always going to return. The demons are always going to come back to try you to see if they can find a crack somewhere. Because the demon knows, okay, you've been in the truth 2 years. All right. The first year I came back, you were okay. But at some point within your journey in the ministry, something is going to happen that's going to make you weaker. Or is going to tempt you to become weaker. Some life devastating event is going to occur. You're going to lose somebody. You're going to encounter something. Something is going to happen to you where you're going to be tested. You're going to be abased. And that's when the demon is going to come in. He said, I know this is going to happen because the Most High is going to test you because you got great potential. Now, great potential doesn't always mean great outcome. So as a demon, which is intelligent, he's going to wait. Sometimes he'll come, yo, what's up? You good? Okay, all right. I'll see you around. I'm still watching. I'll see you around. And the second that thing happens, whatever it is, the Most High says, look, like Job, you know, take this away. You know, put him in a car crash, cripple him. And now you crippled, and now your faith is tested. Your faith is tested, and now you want, damn, Lord, you know, what did I do wrong? Why am I in this case? Now that demon comes in. And you know who he's coming in with? He's coming in with your feelings. He ain't coming in through the front door. He's coming through the back door. Because them demons can measure what your feelings are like. Are you pissed off? And they know what negative emotions are powerful if you don't control them. They're like a fire that burns everything. Anger, sorrow. That's why the scriptures talk about godly sorrow worketh repentance. Ungodly sorrow worketh destruction. But you got people that are enter the woe is me spirit. You know, damn man, hey, I guess I'm not where. I mean, why am I even here? Does it even matter? Does the Most High even love me? Does he care about me? And there, that demon is gonna come in full force and rock. Yo, he's gonna call his boys. This is the moment to attack. That demon is going to declare war on your ass. So you got to have that mindset to know the Lord said what? Prepare your soul for temptation. The Lord ain't going to intervene. He's going to tell you, I told you to prepare your soul for temptation. This is your battle. It's you versus him. The second you came into the truth, that's the demon that was assigned to you. And he's always going to keep coming back. And that means that you always got to be on your toes. You always got to be on your P's and Q's. You always got to level up because he's going to keep coming back. He's on, and as you level up, we're going to assign more demons to you. You got guardian angels, but you got demons that are there to test you. Angels are there to make sure that you're protected and good, but you also have other angels that are there to test you. That's what demons do. What did Satan do to Job? He tested him by making things go wrong in his life. So you gotta always keep that mental guard up against these demons. They'll come with thoughts. They'll jump on your loved ones. They'll put infirmities on you. Them demons will make everything go wrong for you, but you got to still hold your integrity. That's it.
This is 1 Corinthians chapter 10 and 13. There will have no temptation taking you, but such as
It's common to men.
is common to man. But the Most High is faithful, who will not suffer you to be tempted above that ye are able.
That's it. Now here's the thing. And this is why if you fail that temptation, that you're not worthy, because the Lord knows that you're able to do it. That's why he brings it to you. But if you don't do it, that means that you didn't live up to your full potential. You didn't live up to your full capability. The Lord wouldn't give you a situation that you can't handle. It doesn't matter how hard you think it is. Remember, you don't know more than the Lord. The Most High knows best. So whatever temptation or situation he puts you in, he knows that you can make it out of it. And not all outcomes or all solutions are the same. Sometimes in order to pass a certain test, the answer you think that the Lord is looking for is not really what he's looking for. You got, there's one. Oh, it's locked here.
But wherewith the temptation also make a way to escape, that you may be able to bear it.
That's it. And see, that's the problem with a lot of people, is that they get so hung up on the temptation that they don't notice the way the Lord has set up for them to escape it, because they're so hung up on the temptation. Oh, this, but maybe the Lord did that for you to reflect on yourself, and do better. Maybe the Lord took the woman away from you because she completely was a distraction to you. You weren't producing as much as you should have been. But you're so caught up on the fact that she left you that you're not realizing how much more time you have now to dedicate to the Lord. To study, to put in more work, to show the Lord that, hey, maybe this was the second chance the Lord gave me. He could have killed me, but he took her away so I can get a second chance to focus. That was it?
Yeah, that was it.
Verse 38, I have wounded them that they were not able to rise.
Mm-hmm.
They
So
are
King David
fallen.
said he wounded them that they were not able to rise. But isn't that violence? You got it?
They are falling under my feet.
Mm-hmm.
39, for thou hast girded me with strength
Mm-hmm.
unto the battle.
So the Lord girded King David with strength, just like he's going to gird us with strength. Real quick, get out Isaiah 40 and 29. And we're going to finish it off in that chapter on the 50th verse of that.
40 and 29.
Yeah. He said, "They that wait upon me."
Give power to his enemies, that they don't have no might. He happy some strength.
This is Isaiah chapter 40, verse 29. He giveth power to the faint,
Uh-huh.
and to them that have no might, he increases strength.
Right, and right now we're faint. Right now we don't have might. It doesn't matter how much you bench press. You ain't taking on, you can't even take on 2 to 3 of them troops that are coming, that train every day, that can disarm you, throw away their knife and still beat your ass up, break your arm, So he giveth power to the faint, go ahead,
And to them that have no might, he increases strength.
and to them that have no might, he increases strength. So that's why we don't walk around as tough guys. We boast in the Lord, in our power. Our power's gonna do this, our power's gonna do that. But right now we can't really do anything except be wise as serpents and harmless as doves. Our power is in wisdom. If you want to battle there, that's a different story. We'll run circles around your ass, but we're gonna use wisdom because that's our strength right now. Why fight somebody you can't beat? The way you win that battle is by avoiding the fight. Sometimes you gotta know how to take the low, and sometimes you gotta know how to take the no.
Really ain't no weapon that's gonna be able to come back the Lord's judgment.
That's it.
So you can stockpile on weapons, you can get a bulletproof bodysuit, bulletproof mask, bulletproof helmet. When the Lord's judgment comes for you, man, none of that stuff gonna work.
Absolutely. You're right.
Even the youths shall faint and be weary,
Mm-hmm.
and the young men shall utterly fall.
Yeah, because the youth and the young men are known for their strength and their stature. But even they're going to faint and fall. And as you can see right now, they ain't strong and fast. And they big, fat, weak, products of their environment. Go ahead.
But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength.
And so we're waiting upon the Lord, and we're going to renew our strength. Go on.
They shall mount up with wings as eagles.
Now we know it doesn't mean we're literally going to grow wings at our backs, because 1 Corinthians the 50th chapter tells you that there's one body of men and one body of beasts. There's no merging. There's no what they call that thing? The fusion of chimera.
Yeah.
There ain't no chimeras. There ain't none of that stuff. So what does it mean by mounting up with wings as eagles? That's an example. That's a metaphor, or simile, I should say, comparing two things. Meaning we're gonna be able to fly. Okay, when you mount up, like you can imagine Hancock in that scene when the kid comes and talks shit to him, and then he takes the drink from under the bench, and then he just flies up into the air. He mounted up, and we're gonna be able to do that. Go ahead.
They shall run and not be weary.
We're gonna run and not be weary. When you weary, you get tired. You start getting slower. But imagine that, like Captain America. What's the other dude's name? Bucky. I forgot his other name. The Winter Soldier with his other name, but Yeah, we're gonna be able to do that, like the Flash, be able to move super fast, teleport, disappear, reappear. Go ahead.
They shall walk and not faint.
You're gonna walk and not faint. So in essence, we're gonna be made extraterrestrial. Okay. Now the Lord might bless us with certain abilities here in these bodies, all right, such as we need. But ultimately, when our bodies get changed, we're gonna be unstoppable. Got it, bro.
Thou hast subdued under me those that rose up against me.
So it's now physically David did that, but as you can see, because it was ultimately the Lord, and David understood that. Thou hast subdued under me they that rose against me, because there were times when King David didn't have the power to do that. All right, when Absalom came against him, when Saul came against him. But it shows you the integrity and the mercy he had, because when he did gain the power to take out Saul, he didn't. He showed him mercy. So when David went messed up, the Lord showed David mercy. Because when David had the opportunity to put somebody to death for wronging him, he showed mercy. And so when the Lord had an opportunity to put David to death for wronging him, he showed David mercy. So you want mercy, you give mercy.
Verse 40. Thou hast also given me the necks of mine enemies, that I may destroy them that hate me.
I may destroy them that hate me. Well, why didn't David say he's going to make peace with them? You know, he's going to respect them. He's going to make it a safe space for everybody. No, that's not what real life is. That's the American artificial lie. It's not a life, it's a lie. All right? No, yeah, everybody is inclusive, all inclusive. The most I ain't dealing with no all inclusive, or else everybody would have been the same. But clearly there's differences, because the Most High is not interested in all inclusive. He's more exclusive than he is inclusive.
In Psalms 83, it tells you who our enemies are.
That's it.
You know, Jake and Eve, they want to love everybody else. Just madness.
And that love is going to get them messed up.
Verse 41, they cried, but there was none to save them.
So King David says his enemies cried, but there was none to save them. But wait, I thought everybody served the same God. Shouldn't the Most High have been like, whoa, no, slow down and let me be fair and love them too? Go ahead.
Even unto Yahweh, but he answered them not.
Oh, whoa, what's that? So as he was about to take their life, they cried even unto the Most High, and he answered them not. He's like, I'm clearly, why are you crying to me? I'm the one supporting him to come get your ass. That's like judgment coming upon you and you crying on the Lord. You know? Like if you a wicked individual, the Lord, fuck, what you mean? Why are you crying? I'm the one bringing the judgment. You're acting as though like it's Satan. Lord, Satan is after me. Who do you think sent Satan? Oh shit, now you realize, oh, I should have really been fearing the Most High from the beginning. Because even Satan fears the Most High. And you afraid of Satan, but you're not afraid of the Most High? What? The guy that you are afraid of is terrified of the Most High, but to you, I could call him whatever I want. You know? They don't understand. Go ahead.
Verse 42. Then did I beat them small as the dust before the wind.
Right, because see, you it's pretty much like saying you can go ahead and call whoever the hell you want, but it's not going to save you. And when they finally realized that ain't nobody was coming to help them, he showed them what that beating was. He beat them as the what? As the dust.
I did cast them out as the dirt in the streets.
Woo.
Verse 43. Thou hast delivered me from the strivings of the people. And thou hast made me the head of the heathen.
Hey, we got to get into these Psalms, man. There's a lot that are in these Psalms. You can learn a lot. Remember, King David was a man after the Most High's heart. So you can learn a lot from them Psalms, because them Psalms, they were songs. And songs express feelings and your thought process and how you're feeling. So you can learn about the mindset of King David through his Psalms. And if this is a man that was after the Most High's heart, there's a thing or two you can learn.
A people whom I have not known shall serve me.
Verse
44. As soon as they hear of me, they shall obey me. The strangers shall submit themselves unto me. The strangers shall fade away and be afraid out of their close places.
Yeah, and that's what's going to happen. Because ultimately, I mean, even in applying that in prophecy, what's going to happen? in us being in that stead, they're gonna serve us. Kings, nations, the scriptures talk about that. They're gonna bring their forces onto us. Kings shall be thy nursing fathers, meaning that they're gonna serve us. Go on.
Yahweh liveth, and blessed be my rock, and let the power of my salvation be exalted.
Woo! That's right. That's right. Go on.
It is the power that avengeth me,
Mm-hmm.
and subdueth the people under me.
Hey man, there's nothing better than to be in unison with your power. That I mean, to please your Creator, to make your Creator proud is really your sole purpose. That is your accomplishment as a creation, to make your Creator proud, for your Creator to be happy that you have accomplished what He created you to do. That is the ultimate fulfillment of life. If a gun that doesn't shoot is nothing. It's not a. It doesn't. What's the point? If you make a gun that doesn't shoot, what's the point in making it? It can't do what it was made to do. And that's why you have women that when they're not able to have children, they get so messed up because they feel so unaccomplished. Like, damn, the one thing that I can do, I cannot do. You know? So as men that the Lord has set up to do His work, guess what? Our sense of accomplishment comes from doing what we were created to do, and as prophets, that's the prophesy. Go ahead.
Verse 48. He delivereth me from mine enemies.
Mm-hmm.
Yea, thou liftest me up above those that rise up against me.
Mm-hmm.
Thou hast delivered me from the violent man.
That's right, and that's what the Lord is going to do for us in this time. He's going to deliver us from the violent man, which starts with Esau. Go on.
Verse 49. Therefore will I give thanks unto thee,
That's right.
O Yahweh, among the heathen.
Not Jebus, but to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Go on.
Among the heathen,
Mhm.
and sing praises unto thy name.
Mm-hmm. Unto thy name.
Verse
Go on.
50.
Mm-hmm.
Great deliverance giveth he to his king, and showeth mercy to his anointed,
There you go.
to David, and to his seed forevermore.
That's it. That's it. That's it. All right. That's a beautiful psalm right there. And like I said, we got to get more into these psalms, man. Because these psalms contain a lot. They contain prophecy, you know, advice, history, mindset, all of these things, you know. And so, hey, brothers, got any other precepts?
Did you want Proverbs 11:8?
Which one was that?
Righteous delivered out of trouble.
Yeah, you can get that.
This is Proverbs chapter 11 and 8.
Mm-hmm.
The righteous is delivered out of trouble,
Mm-hmm.
and the wicked cometh in his stead.
Yep, and that's what's going to happen. The Lord is going to deliver us out of trouble, and like I said, the wicked cometh in His stead. You know, and this is why, once again, the name is so important, because calling upon the name is going to deliver us. Anybody can call on Jesus, all right? But the name Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shai is a special name, and it holds power. And everybody's going to find out the true names and the true power and the true men of the Lord in that time. Okay? As a matter of fact, we can close it out with Ezekiel 33 and 33. Whoever got it could bring it.
Ezekiel 33.
Yep.
This book of Ezekiel, chapter 33, verse 33. And when this cometh to pass, lo, it will come.
Just talking about these prophecies, the words in this book, because they're coming to pass as we speak. Go ahead.
Then shall they know that a prophet hath been among them.
And it's starting now that people are recognizing that, but as things get more intense, people are going to completely understand and recognize that. As the Lord said, I will give you praises and fame in every land which you will put to shame. So that's when they're going to know that a prophet has been among them. Oh wow, those were actually prophets, man. Like they said, they weren't bugging out. They weren't crazy. They're gonna see it, man. They're gonna see it. So we don't need to stress. We just gotta keep our head down and keep on doing what our power requires us to do. All right, which is to come out here and to serve Him in sincerity and in truth. Okay. So, guys, got anything else? All right, beautiful, beautiful. So with that, we're gonna end it here. Lord willing, that was edifying. In closing, we want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Rakah, Kodash. Shalom.
Oh, brother, that was beautiful. Oh,
It was the
man.
Spirit.